Ladies and gentlemen, hidden envy is a subtle yet powerful emotion that often lurks beneath the surface of seemingly friendly interactions. It is the quiet resentment or jealousy someone harbors towards another's success, happiness, or qualities. Unlike open rivalry or criticism, hidden envy is masked behind smiles, compliments, or passive-aggressive behavior. It's not always easy to detect, but when you begin to notice patterns of subtle sabotage, dismissiveness, or backhanded compliments, you might be experiencing the effects of someone's concealed hatred. This emotion is often rooted in insecurity. When someone sees you thriving, whether in your personal growth, career, relationships, or self-confidence, it can trigger their own feelings of inadequacy. Instead of facing these emotions, they may project them onto you through envy. But because they don't want to appear jealous or resentful, they suppress these feelings and express them in covert ways. They might act overly nice, pretend to support you, or even mimic your behavior, while secretly hoping for your downfall. People who are envious may question your success in subtle ways. They might say, "You got lucky," or "Let's see how long that lasts." These are not just casual remarks. They are expressions of their internal discomfort with your accomplishments. Instead of celebrating you, they try to minimize your achievements to feel better about themselves. This often comes with an undercurrent of comparison. They measure their worth against yours, and when they fall short in their minds, resentment builds. What makes hidden envy particularly dangerous is that it erodes relationships silently. The person who harbors this emotion may still be close to you, a friend, coworker, or even a family member. They might keep you in their life while subtly undermining your self-esteem or casting doubt on your choices. Their support often feels conditional, and their presence may begin to feel emotionally draining. You might leave conversations with them feeling confused, less confident, or emotionally uneasy, and that's a sign something deeper is at play. The reason people don't express envy openly is because society views it as shameful. No one wants to admit they feel threatened or inadequate, so they wear masks of politeness or concern. They may even convince themselves that they have your best interest at heart. But their actions betray their true feelings, constantly pointing out your flaws, highlighting your mistakes, or giving you advice that subtly discourages you from taking bold steps. These behaviors are attempts to maintain a sense of superiority or control without appearing overtly hostile. Recognizing hidden envy requires self-awareness and emotional intelligence. It's about paying attention not just to what people say, but how they say it. Do they celebrate you when good things happen? Or do they change the subject, make you feel guilty, or respond with indifference? Do they cheer for your growth? Or do they act distant when you shine? These small behaviors often reveal the truth behind someone's intentions. Once you recognize hidden envy, the best response is emotional distance. You don't need to confront the person with accusations. In fact, doing so might escalate the situation. Instead, protect your energy, set boundaries. Limit how much of your wins and dreams you share with them. Surround yourself with people who genuinely support and celebrate you. Hidden envy loses its power when you refuse to internalize it. Ultimately, understanding hidden envy helps you navigate relationships with more clarity. It reminds you not to dim your light for others' comfort and not to take others' subtle criticisms personally. Your success, joy, and confidence may trigger others, but it's not your job to manage their insecurities. Keep shining, stay grounded, and trust that those who truly love you will never make you feel small for being yourself. Passive aggression is one of the most common and deceptive forms of hidden hostility. When someone secretly harbors resentment, jealousy, or even hatred toward you, they often won't express it directly. Instead, it leaks out in small, subtle ways, through sarcasm, procrastination, backhanded compliments, and silent treatment. These actions are designed to cause discomfort without confrontation, allowing the aggressor to maintain a facade of politeness while still expressing their underlying negative emotions. What makes passive aggression particularly dangerous is its ambiguity. Because it operates under a mask of subtlety, it leaves you second, guessing your own feelings and responses. You might sense tension in someone's words or actions, but when you call it out, they deny any ill intent. They may say, "I was just joking," or "You're too sensitive," which makes you question your perception and feel confused or even guilty for speaking up. This manipulation is intentional. It allows them to maintain control while never taking responsibility for their behavior. Passive aggression can show up in many forms. It might be the friend who never celebrates your success but always points out your failures, wrapped in a caring tone. It could be the coworker who deliberately withholds information that you need to succeed but smiles in your face. It may be the family member who offers to help but constantly arrives late or cancels last minute, blaming circumstances instead of owning their lack of effort. In romantic relationships, passive aggression often surfaces as silent treatment, subtle jabs, or forgetting important dates as a way to punish without openly acknowledging their resentment. Often, those who use passive aggression are unwilling or afraid to confront their emotions head-on. They may lack the tools to communicate openly or fear rejection if they express how they truly feel. Instead, they bury their frustration, and it finds a way to surface in indirect, harmful ways. This behavior is rooted in emotional immaturity and low self-awareness, and it creates an unstable dynamic where the target of this aggression constantly feels unsettled. If someone secretly hates you, they are unlikely to come out and say it. Instead, their dislike may surface through consistent patterns of passive-aggressive actions. They might downplay your achievements, offer faint praise, or make harmless jokes at your expense. Over time, these behaviors accumulate and leave you feeling emotionally drained and uncertain. It's not the intensity of a single incident that makes passive aggression so toxic. It's the slow erosion of trust, respect, and emotional safety. Recognizing passive aggression is crucial to protecting your mental and emotional health. The first step is to stop making excuses for people's behavior. If someone consistently makes you feel small, dismissed, or anxious after interactions, pay attention. Their words and actions are likely communicating something they refuse to say out loud. Trust your intuition when something feels off. Once identified, set boundaries. Don't reward passive-aggressive behavior by playing along or suppressing your reactions. Stay calm, direct, and assertive. For example, if someone makes a sarcastic remark, respond by calmly asking, "What do you mean by that?" This brings the behavior into the light and forces them to confront what they're really saying. Over time, they will either become more self-aware or distance themselves. Either outcome protects your peace. Remember, passive aggression is not about you. It's about the emotional wounds and insecurities of the person expressing it. While you can't change them, you can control your environment and your emotional exposure. Choose relationships that foster clarity, respect, and mutual support. In doing so, you create space for genuine connection and free yourself from the toxic energy of those who secretly work against you under the disguise of friendliness. Toxic behavior is often the clearest sign that someone harbors hidden resentment or even hatred towards you. While open hostility is easy to recognize, toxic behavior is more insidious. It operates in the shadows, cloaked in manipulation, control, and subtle emotional sabotage. When someone secretly hates you, they usually don't attack you directly. Instead, they use patterns of behavior that slowly undermine your confidence, disturb your peace, and make you question your worth without ever stating their true intentions. One of the first signs of toxic behavior is constant criticism disguised as helpful advice. These individuals never seem to have anything positive to say about your choices, ideas, or accomplishments. They point out your flaws with a smile, mock your aspiration, and question your capabilities in the name of being realistic. The intent is to erode your self-esteem while maintaining plausible deniability. On the surface, they seem concerned. Beneath it, they're chipping away at your confidence. Toxic people also thrive on control. If someone secretly dislikes you, they may try to dominate how you think, behave, or spend your time. They might guilt you for making independent choices, belittle your goals, or get angry when you spend time with others. It's not about love or friendship, it's about power. Their control stems from insecurity, and watching you grow threatens their fragile ego. They want to keep you small, uncertain, and dependent so they can feel superior. Gaslighting is another powerful weapon in the toxic person's arsenal. They twist reality, deny their hurtful actions, and make you question your memory and feelings. For example, if you bring up how they hurt you, they might say, "You're being dramatic," or That never happened. Over time, this makes you doubt your own perception and feel like the problem lies within you, not them. This psychological manipulation is intentional. It's designed to keep you off balance and confused while giving them the upper hand. Another red flag is envy masquerading as support. Toxic people will pretend to celebrate your wins but secretly resent them. They may minimize your success, compare you to others, or redirect attention back to themselves. They'll be present during your struggles but strangely absent, or bitter, during your victories. This isn't loyalty. It's a deep-rooted dislike for your growth and happiness, cloaked in fake encouragement. Toxic behavior can also involve chronic negativity, passive-aggressive remarks, backstabbing, and gossip. These individuals may talk behind your back, create drama, or turn others against you while pretending to be your ally. If someone constantly leaves you feeling drained, anxious, or second-guessing yourself, you're likely dealing with toxic energy fueled by hidden animosity. What's most dangerous about toxic behavior is that it often goes unnoticed, especially when it's coming from someone close to you. A friend, a partner, or even a family member can act in ways that seem subtle but leave lasting emotional scars. Because their hatred is hidden, you keep giving them chances, excusing their actions and hoping they'll change. But toxic people rarely change unless they face consequences and are forced to reflect. Recognizing toxic behavior for what it is, an expression of hidden hatred or deep insecurity, is empowering. It allows you to stop blaming yourself and start setting boundaries. You're not obligated to explain your worth, justify your emotions, or tolerate manipulation for the sake of keeping the peace. Protecting your mental health sometimes means walking away from people who don't openly harm you, but still poison your spirit. The moment you choose to see toxic behavior clearly, you reclaim your power. You stop absorbing the hate disguised as care and start living in alignment with your truth. And in doing so, you remove one of the greatest sources of stress and self-doubt, the presence of someone who secretly hates you while pretending to love you. Fake friends are often the most dangerous people in your life because they wear masks that hide their true intentions. On the surface, they smile, offer compliments, and even show up during good times. But beneath the surface there's resentment, jealousy, and sometimes even hatred. These people don't always make it obvious that they have a problem with you. They're too smart for that. Instead, they operate subtly, slowly draining your energy and undermining your sense of trust without ever exposing their real feelings. One of the most telling signs of a fake friend is inconsistency. They're warm and supportive one day, cold and dismissive the next. They pick and choose when to be in your life, often based on what benefits them. When you're down, they may disappear, and when you're succeeding, they may act distant or even annoyed. Real friends are present through highs and lows, not only when it serves them. Fake friends also have a habit of minimizing your success. Instead of celebrating your growth, they find ways to diminish it. They might say, "You were just lucky," or compare your achievement to someone else's as a way to downplay your hard work. These comments may sound innocent, but they're rooted in envy. Rather than being happy for you, fake friends feel threatened by your progress. And since they can't openly express that, they wrap their bitterness in sarcasm or humor. Another red flag is gossip. If someone constantly talks about others behind their backs, it's only a matter of time before they do the same to you. Fake friends thrive on drama and division. They may share your personal information, twist your words, or stir up conflict, all while acting like they're on your side. They smile in your face and stab you in the back, often just to feel superior or to fit in with someone else. This two-faced behavior is a clear sign that they harbor hidden negativity toward you. Fake friends are also emotionally unavailable. When you need support, they're too busy, distracted, or uninterested. But when they need something, your time, energy, connections, they suddenly become your best friend again. This one-sided dynamic is not a friendship, it's a transactional relationship. The moment you're no longer useful, they fade into the background or start acting irritated by your presence. Another common trait is passive aggression. They don't express their resentment directly, but it seeps out through subtle jabs, backhanded compliments, or negative body language. You might hear things like, "Wow, you actually pulled that off," or "I didn't think you were the type to do something like that." These comments may seem small, but over time, they chip away at your self-esteem and leave you feeling confused or unworthy. Fake friends also struggle with loyalty. They align themselves with whoever is more popular or beneficial at the moment. If someone turns against you, they might follow along or stay silent instead of defending you. Their loyalty isn't to you, it's to their own convenience. When you're not around, they may allow others to disrespect you just to maintain their own image. The truth is, someone who secretly hates you rarely shows it through direct confrontation. Instead, they pretend to care while quietly sabotaging you in ways that are hard to prove but easy to feel. Your energy picks up on it first, the tension, the unease, the way your spirit dims when you're around them. Recognizing fake friends for what they are is crucial for your emotional health. You don't need to fight them or expose them. Distance is your power. The less access they have to your life, the less control they have over your peace. Real friends want to see you win, grow, and heal. Fake ones only want you small enough to not threaten their comfort. When you stop allowing fake friends into your sacred space, you make room for people who genuinely love, support, and respect you. Jealousy is a silent but powerful emotion, often hiding beneath layers of politeness and forced smiles. When someone secretly hates you, jealousy is frequently the driving force behind their actions. It doesn't always manifest in obvious ways like anger or confrontation. Instead, it shows up in subtle behaviors, sidelong glances, backhanded compliments, passive-aggressive comments, or the sudden absence of support when you need it most. Jealousy is rarely spoken out loud, but it's deeply felt. It poisons relationships quietly and dangerously. A person who is jealous of you doesn't necessarily want what you have. They just don't want you to have it. Whether it's your success, your confidence, your relationships, or simply the light you carry, jealous people are disturbed by the fact that you're thriving in areas where they feel lacking. This discomfort festers and grows into resentment, which they often mask behind fake support or shallow praise. They may say, "I'm so happy for you," but their eyes and energy tell a different story. Jealousy often leads to secret competition. These individuals might mimic your achievements or try to outdo you in a way that seems like coincidence but is intentionally calculated. Instead of cheering you on, they silently compare themselves to you, and every win you experience feels like a loss to them. Their insecurity makes it impossible for them to celebrate you genuinely because your presence constantly reminds them of what they feel they're missing. When someone secretly hates you, jealousy causes them to twist your intentions. They may interpret your confidence as arrogance or your kindness as manipulation. In their eyes, you can't possibly be genuine because your light casts a shadow on their self-worth. This distorted perception is a form of projection. They take their unresolved feelings and place them onto you, creating a narrative that justifies their hostility. Another sign of jealousy-fueled hatred is gossip. Instead of expressing their feelings or working through their own insecurities, these individuals vent by talking behind your back. They spread rumors, question your credibility, or mock your choices in subtle ways. These actions are an attempt to bring you down to a level that makes them feel better about themselves. It's not just about hurting your reputation. It's about soothing their bruised ego. Social media can often amplify this behavior. A jealous person might never like, comment on, or acknowledge your accomplishments online, even though they see everything. Silence becomes their way of expressing disdain. Or worse, they might engage in hate watching, closely following your journey not out of admiration, but to look for flaws, failures, or anything that could make them feel superior. What's most deceptive about jealousy is how well it can be hidden. Someone who's jealous of you might still hang out with you, compliment you, or pretend to support you in public. But you'll always feel the underlying tension. Your intuition will pick up on the insincerity, and your energy will feel drained after interactions. You may feel judged, unsupported, or subtly belittled, even though nothing overly offensive was said. The most important thing to understand is that their jealousy has nothing to do with you. It's a reflection of their internal struggle. You simply mirror something they lack or believe they cannot attain. That mirror is uncomfortable for them, so instead of looking inward, they lash out in quiet, harmful ways. It's not your responsibility to fix them or prove your worth. Your only responsibility is to protect your peace. Recognizing jealousy in others is not about becoming paranoid. It's about becoming aware. When you notice these behaviors, set firm boundaries. Limit what you share, and protect your energy. You don't need validation from people who secretly hope you'll fail. Keep shining. The right people will celebrate your light. The wrong ones will be blinded by it. Let that be their problem, not yours. Emotional manipulation is one of the clearest signs that someone secretly harbors negative feelings toward you, possibly even hatred. It's a deceptive tactic used to control, influence, or destabilize your emotional well-being while maintaining a false appearance of friendship, care, or closeness. This form of manipulation is not always aggressive or obvious. In fact, it's often subtle, calculated, and masked as concern, advice, or humor, which makes it particularly dangerous. A person who secretly hates you won't confront you directly. Instead, they might use guilt, shame, gaslighting, or passive-aggressive behavior to chip away at your confidence. Their goal is not to build you up, but to gradually erode your sense of self so you become more doubtful, insecure, and easier to control. They don't want to see you empowered. They want you emotionally dependent on them or struggling internally, even if they smile to your face while doing it. One common form of emotional manipulation is the use of guilt. They may frame things in a way that makes you feel responsible for their unhappiness or failure. For example, if you're doing well in life, they might say things like, "Must be nice to have everything work out for you," or "I wish I had the time and freedom you do." These statements are not compliments. They're subtle attacks designed to make you feel guilty for your success or joy. Gaslighting is another manipulation tactic they may use. This is when they make you question your reality, memory, or sanity. If you confront them about something hurtful, they might respond with, "You're too sensitive," or "That's not what I meant," even when their intentions were clearly harmful. Over time, this causes you to second-guess yourself, to believe you're overreacting, and to tolerate more toxicity than you should. Passive-aggressive behavior also reveals underlying hate. This could show up as sarcastic compliments, delayed responses, or intentional forgetfulness about things that matter to you. For instance, they might joke about your dreams or downplay your achievements. When you express how it made you feel, they might brush it off with, "I was just kidding. You take everything so seriously." These small acts are meant to hurt you without giving you a clear reason to call them out. Emotional manipulators also love to play the victim, even when they're ones creating conflict. They will twist the narrative to make it seem like you're the one being cruel or unreasonable. This is particularly effective if you're a naturally empathetic or kind person. They rely on your compassion to avoid accountability and keep you emotionally entangled. Another tactic is triangulation, where they bring in a third party to reinforce their manipulation. They may say things like, "Everyone thinks you've changed," or "I was talking to someone and they agree you're being difficult lately." This creates confusion and insecurity, making you feel isolated or ganged up on. It's all part of their plan to destabilize your emotional ground. The biggest indicator of emotional manipulation from someone who secretly hates you is how you feel after interacting with them. Do you feel drained, confused, or less confident? Do you find yourself constantly explaining or defending yourself? Do you feel like you're walking on eggshells? These are all red flags. The best response to emotional manipulation is not to play the game. Don't argue with them, try to win them over, or explain yourself repeatedly. Instead, create distance, set boundaries, protect your emotional and mental space. You don't owe loyalty to someone who only shows up to destabilize you. Their secret hatred is not your burden to carry. It's a reflection of their own unresolved pain and insecurity. Recognizing it is your first step toward reclaiming your peace, strength, and clarity. Subtle sabotage is one of the most insidious ways someone who secretly hates you will express their hidden resentment. Unlike open hostility, this kind of sabotage operates quietly beneath the surface, masked by smiles, false concern, or even fake encouragement. The person engaging in subtle sabotage doesn't want you to succeed, but they also don't want you or others to notice their intentions. So, they play a long game, one of disguised opposition, Small but consistent actions meant to hold you back, confuse you, or make you doubt yourself. It can start with something as simple as discouraging comments dressed up as concern. For example, if you share an idea, goal, or opportunity, they might say, "Were you sure you're ready for that?" Or, "That sounds risky. I just don't want you to get hurt." On the surface, these may seem like supportive statements. But the underlying message is I don't believe in you. Over time, hearing these comments chips away at your confidence and makes you second-guess your path. Subtle sabotage also appears through unreliable behavior. Maybe this person constantly forgets to deliver on their promises to you. If you're depending on them for something important, an introduction, a reference, help with a project, they delay, make excuses, or drop the ball. It happens too often to be coincidence. But when confronted, they'll claim they're just forgetful or overwhelmed, never taking responsibility for the real impact on your progress. They are quietly making sure your momentum stalls while they maintain their innocent facade. Another form of sabotage is how they influence us' perceptions of you. They might spread harmless gossip or plant seeds of doubt about your abilities. Comments like, "She's doing well, but I just hope she doesn't burn out," or "He's ambitious, but he can be a little arrogant sometimes," are framed as observations but function as quiet character attacks. They erode others' trust in you while the saboteur continues to appear supportive on the outside. In social settings, someone who secretly hates you might purposely leave you out of important conversations or events. They might, accidentally, forget to invite you to a meeting or neglect to mention opportunities that could help you grow. If they're in a position of influence, they may steer chances away from you while pretending it just wasn't in their control. These little exclusions are intentional. They don't want to see you advance, and their goal is to isolate you without making it obvious. Subtle sabotage can even show up in the form of fake compliments or jokes that cut deep. Statements like, "Wow, I'm surprised you pulled that off," or "You actually look good today. What happened?" are insults disguised as humor or praise. They leave you feeling uneasy, unsure of how to respond, and possibly even questioning whether you're overreacting. That confusion is exactly the result the saboteur wants. What makes subtle sabotage so dangerous is how difficult it is to prove. If you try to bring it up, you may be accused of being too sensitive or paranoid. The saboteur counts on your silence. They thrive in the gray areas, where their intentions can't be easily exposed, and where you're more likely to withdraw than confront. Recognizing subtle sabotage is crucial for protecting your peace and progress. Pay attention to patterns. How do you feel after interactions with this person? Do you feel diminished, overlooked, or unsettled? Do their words and actions often contradict each other? Trust those feelings. A person who truly supports you won't make you feel small, confused, or held back. Once you identify subtle sabotage, create emotional and practical distance. Don't share your goals with people who secretly hope you fail. Don't rely on those who repeatedly disappoint you. And most importantly, don't question your worth because of someone else's hidden resentment. Their behavior speaks more about their insecurities than your capabilities. Let their actions be a silent motivation to keep rising. Just out of their reach, trust issues often arise as a result of dealing with people who mask their true intentions. When someone secretly hates you, they rarely show it openly. Instead, they operate from the shadows, pretending to be friendly while subtly undermining you. This duplicity can leave you confused, questioning your instincts and struggling to figure out who's genuinely on your side. Over time, these experiences create deep-seated trust issues that affect not only your relationship with that person, but also your ability to trust others in general. You might begin to second-guess the compliments you receive. Are they genuine, or are they laced with sarcasm or envy? When someone who harbors resentment toward you says something nice, there's often a subtle undertone that doesn't sit right. You feel it, even if you can't explain it. This cognitive dissonance, where someone's words don't match their energy, can cause you to distrust your own perceptions. The more this happens, the harder it becomes to take anything at face value. Trust issues also develop when actions don't align with words. A person who secretly resents you might promise support but disappear when you need them. They may say they're happy for your success, but their behavior tells another story: withdrawal, passive-aggressive remarks, or downplaying your accomplishments. These inconsistencies chip away at your sense of security in the relationship. Eventually, you start expecting people to betray or disappoint you, even those who mean well. What's even more damaging is the isolation that trust issues create. Once you stop trusting people, you may also stop sharing your thoughts and feelings. A vulnerability begins to feel dangerous. You keep your guard up, not just with the person who hurt you, but with everyone. This emotional wall may protect you from future harm, but it also keeps you from experiencing real connection, intimacy, and support. Trust issues don't just affect your relationships with others. They erode your trust in yourself. When someone close to you betrays you in subtle ways, especially while pretending to care, it creates internal confusion. You might ask yourself, "Oh, how didn't I see this sooner?" Or "Why did I ignore the red flags?" These self-doubts create a ripple effect that can undermine your confidence in making decisions, setting boundaries, or trusting your instincts. Healing from trust issues means learning to listen to your intuition again. The discomfort you felt wasn't irrational. It was your inner knowing picking up on something real. You may not have had concrete evidence, but your body and spirit recognized the disconnect between words and energy. Honoring that instinct is the first step toward rebuilding your ability to trust. Not blindly, but wisely. It's also essential to accept that not everyone deserves access to your vulnerability. Just because someone smiles at your claims to support you doesn't mean they have your best interests at heart. Protecting your energy is not bitterness, it's wisdom. With time, you learn to recognize the difference between genuine support and subtle sabotage. You become more discerning, more grounded, and less likely to be manipulated. Ultimately, trust issues aren't a flaw. They're a signal. A reminder that you've been hurt, that you've seen what people are capable of behind closed doors. But they also point toward growth. Once you've learned who not to trust, you begin to see more clearly who is truly worthy of your trust. And more importantly, you start to trust yourself again.